get this show on the road. For anyone who wants to turn their camera on and say hi to Terry or say hi to me, I'd be happy to see your pretty face. Um, we are here to talk about women in leadership, taking joyful risk, to meet Terry and to let her do some talking. Terry has lots of experience in this area, and I am going to let her do some talking. Terry is the CEO of Women Who Risk, and she knows lots about joyful risk. Terry, would you like to do some talking?
Sure. So I'm Terry Bybee. I'm the founder of Women Who Risk, and I challenge, inspire, and empower women to take purposeful, joyful risks, letting go of doubt, perfectionism, and imposter syndrome so that they can cope with challenges for extraordinary outcomes. So today's going to be a lot of fun as we look at joyful risks, fearless leadership, and empowering women to succeed. So Val and I, we're really excited to be coming together here and talking to you all and seeing what questions you have and doing a little energy psychology so we can have a shift in the moment.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope you're ready for fun. If you're not, get ready. And it's okay if you're not camera ready. Don't worry about that. You can always put comments in the chat or questions in the chat too.
So Val, since I'm going to be sharing the recording as well, you want to introduce yourself?
So most people here know me. Most people here have worked with me already or are working with me. But if you have not, I am the CEO of VMC, and I am a career leadership coach. I work mostly with women to help you find a new role and to help you advance your career to the next level. I have spent the last 8 years mostly working with most of you or many of you on helping you find your next role. And this is going to be really component of part 2 of now what to do when you get there, right? So helping you succeed and advance and find some joyful risk and how to let go of your imposter syndrome and how to really advance yourselves. And I think that this is very cool and very necessary. And I think the time now is couldn't call for it any more, right, than this moment. So I think that this is perfect. Um, and absolutely love to hear from any of you. If you have questions, comments, we can have an interactive discussion here. But yeah, I've been wanting to do this, so I'm excited about this. Yeah, happy to have everyone here. So thank you for coming.
Welcome. We kind of thought that it might be a good, we looked at what everyone shared with us and
Thank you for answering those questions.
Came up with some talking points to kind of get us all started thinking about why this particular group has come together at this time and what we can do about it. And one of the things that we wanted to start with was the fear of. I think that that's a lot of what holds us back, whether it's fear of succeeding, fear of failing, fear of not knowing what the next step is, just fear of figuring it out, right? That unknown piece. So, Val, I'm going to let you lead the way.
So I find the fear of failure is a big one, especially for us ladies, right? As far as holding back and not wanting to take the next step and not wanting to figure out how to go forward and how to advance, right? Because it's, am I going to succeed? Am I going to fail? The what if, what if, what if? The what if factor, unfortunately, will always be there, right? But what's that saying? You know, what if I fail? Well, what if you fly, right? What if you just gain your wings and you do so well? And that's what I want to see you do. I want to see you do so amazingly well. I want to see more women into leadership positions. I want to see more women into management positions. I want to see more women giving other women a hand up. But until we try and until we help each other and give each other a boost, we can't get there, right? But unfortunately, what does that call for? Taking a risk, letting go of the fear of the unknown a tiny bit, and stepping forward. But I think this is where embracing change, embracing the uncertainty, and yes, because it can be daunting. I understand. Believe me, I get it. I'm with you right there. However, it's where you grow. And that's where I think you become your greatest self. And that's where I think you grow the most.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
in
is
that
where
uncertainty. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and this is where I think you can innovate, come up with new ideas, do really cool things, and become your best self, really.
I feel like in that uncertainty is where all possibility exists,
Yep.
right? It's kind of like in that void. If you believe in quantum physics, which it's a scientific thing, that is where all
Yep.
possibility exists,
Yep.
is in the void. So you have an opportunity to step into that unknown and look at those possibilities. And partly through addressing this fear that we're talking about, you also get an opportunity to deal with your own resilience, right? Build that resilience, because it's not something that necessarily comes naturally. And I say that in people in general, but especially women, just like Valerie was saying, there's been such a misbalance, right, in women in business ever since they said we could take home the bacon and oh shoot, what's that song? I've lost the other part of the song. Kim knows it. I saw her singing it, but I can't think of what it is. But basically saying we can have it all, when then we had to do it all. So this is an opportunity really to leverage your strengths. Um, we aren't necessarily set up to think about what skills we have, what strengths we have, what I don't know that we have the time or spend the time even looking at our past successes, right? So a lot of these are things that we as women have to consciously address. We have to step into those memories of success, no matter how small, because that's a big part of what we miss, right? We don't celebrate the small successes, and we think, oh well, it wasn't that, right? And so we have to remember to support ourselves and each other. Val talked about that too. Giving each other a leg up, giving each other the support, lifting each other up, even
Yep.
when they're unfamiliar challenges.
We don't give each other a hand up, then I'm not sure that, and I know this is going to come out and sound pessimistic, and I'm not a pessimistic person, if anyone knows me, but I'm not sure that we'll ever reach the level of equality that we want to see if we don't do it. In other words, it's on us, right? It's on us. If we don't start doing it, we're just going to keep passing it down a generation.
We have to prepare for the change. We have to make the change. We have to step into the change. And change is the unknown. So that kind of just brings us full circle. Maybe it's good to have a little fear because it's telling us there's something there, right? There's something for us on the other side, which is very much how I look at it, because um, my business is based on women and risk, and well, risk is stepping into the unknown. So that's all part of what we're looking at. But what do we need with that? We need support. So if we're looking at support, and oh, by the way, one of the things that we haven't done yet, but I definitely want to make sure that we do, this is open for interaction. Yes, this is open for
Yes.
interaction. So feel free to, if you got a thought, raise your hand so that we unmute yourself and come on, because this is a discussion And we're just throwing out some things that we felt were really relevant to the topic. So I saw I saw someone say something about men can be allies, and that's what we want. Actually, it's not about women versus men. It's what I am not
It's
a
not it
man
at all.
basher. We as women have to support each other. And if we can get support from men as well, having men allies, whether they're your partners, your boss, your coworkers, friends, is an amazing thing because it's not been our history over the last many years, right? So, how do you build that support network? Well, you got to start with yourself, right? You have to support yourself. You have to work on your skills. You have to hang out with the right people. And what I mean by that is people that are willing to support you. And kind of a side note here, you got to be careful who you share your stories with. And I mean that from the perspective of if you're going to share your successes, if you're going to share your challenges, if you're going to share your story, you want to make sure that it's somebody that will step up to support you because we don't need naysayers. There's plenty of those out there, right? It's making sure that
Yep.
the mentors we have, male or female, are ones that are really there to lift us up. So when we're building that support network, you have to think of those things. You want like-minded, or you want someone that even if they aren't on the same page as you, because there's lots of people maybe in the same chapter or the same book, but not on the same page, as long as they are there to listen, support, and I'm going to say give advice if you've asked for it, because sometimes we just need a sounding board. We need to know those we got people on our side. So you want to be careful on sharing your story with people that may not view you or your world in a way that's going to be supportive. So that's what I mean when be careful who you share with. Not like being a secretive, but you want to build the network around you that is going to support and uplift you. Now, what do you think about all that?
One thing that comes to my mind is, you know that saying, you are like the five people you spend most of your time with? For some reason, that just keeps coming into my mind because, and one of the, I think one of the reasons is the habits that we build, right? So that the resilience and the habits that we build, being able to tell ourselves all the time that we can do it because not every day is going to be great, right? Let's be realistic about it. Not every day is going to be amazing. However, does that mean that we give up? No. No,
So,
that doesn't mean that you should change the goal or that you should stay away from the goal or anywhere near it. However, this is where I think the community and the support network and having the supportive people around you come in, right? Because then when you have that, and you do need that sounding board, right, Terry? You're talking about, just sometimes being able to need that sounding board and not always needing advice, just needing somebody to listen. That's where that comes in because then you have this supportive network where someone can just sit there and listen and being able, you know they're being supportive and you know that you can count on them and trust them. This
yeah,
is
and
where I think community is so important in this type of thing because being able to do this alone, I think is scary and hard. And I also think that it takes a lot, right? Mentorship, sponsorship. We can talk well, you can talk about all these things, but there's just so many different things. And I really don't think it is a man versus a woman type of thing. I
there's
think as
space
long
for all of us. Let's be real. They
oh, there
need
definitely
all of us.
is. There's space for everything. And I think that as long as the person doesn't matter what their gender is supportive, that's all that matters. They
And it's for
want
personal,
to
I'm
see you
sorry.
happy.
And it's the thing is if you are bringing people around you that you look up to, right? So you don't want anybody dragging you down.
Oh
The
yeah.
people that you're looking for mentors, the people that you want to surround yourself when you are reaching for goals, when you're trying to promote yourself and move yourself forward. You want to bring in people that you look up to. And the thing is, this type of support network, it's going to help you personally as well as professionally. It's not they're not separate really, right? It's all of that is part of our life. So when we think about that, the other side of the coin, we have to remember to support others. And I am focused. Women are my main clientele. But again, it doesn't. I'm not negating men. So if we as women are learning to support ourselves, learning about our own resilience, learning about our risk capabilities, then we in turn can support other women, lift them up, mentor them, listen to them, support them. I think it's really important. It's not a one-way street. It's one of those, and you pass it on, right? You get the support and you pass it on. And that's how we build that support of women for women. And I'm okay with women for men, men for women. Again, gender is not really about that, but we are talking about, in this particular topic, empowering women to succeed. So just keeping that focus in mind. And you know what? It is okay to ask for support. In fact, it's not only okay, it's necessary. When we feel the overwhelm, when we feel the fear, when we feel like the imposter, I would bet you, okay, I'll say $5 because I'm a little cheap. I'll bet you that you could turn around to that person that is part of your network and share those fears, share that imposter feel, and they would say, why are you feeling that way? You have so much to offer. So remembering that we don't have to stand alone. You have to stand strong in yourself, but you don't have to stand alone. And that's kind of the point, right? Is building the support network so that we can receive and support in turn. And that takes courage, right? So the big part of risk is having the courage to address it, to look at it, to reach for it. It's not about not being afraid. I mean, I think fear can be exhilarating if we are in the right mindset. So it's like, I haven't done this before. This is so exciting. I'm a little bit afraid, but I'm gonna, you're stepping into it. That takes a lot of courage to look past that fear of the unknown, to step into something new, and to be a real leader, whether it's in your own life or a leader of others. You have to do that. You have to have the courage to address things that you're not super familiar with, especially if you're trying to move in a new direction, if you're trying to advance yourself, if you've got specific dreams or goals. They wouldn't be dreams and goals if you already had them in your pocket, right? So being able to have the courage to kind of step into that and doing it from a calculated perspective. So it's not willy-nilly, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to risk and throw myself, across the railroad tracks, or whatever risk is crazy for you. That's pretty crazy. But to really know that you're addressing a risk. I know I went a little off topic or something there. Something weird happened there.
It's okay.
But courage, change involves risk, because again, it's addressing the unknown. Okay, it all kind of circles back to that, right?
We have a question in the chat. Trinisha, why don't you unmute yourself and let's talk about that, because that was a good question.
Sure. Thank you. First of all, I want
Yeah.
to thank Kim. Kim invited me to this session today. So as you're speaking of surrounding yourself with those great, fabulous women to uplift you, she's that person for me. So thank you so much, Kim. With that question, I struggle sometimes with being humble, not boasting and bragging, but also sharing, experience in leadership, and things of that nature, and not having it being received as, oh, you're boasting, you're bragging, or it may be something that your colleagues have not participated in or have not achieved, and fearful of what one may think when it comes to sharing. One incident I will say just happened this week. I was nominated for an award and I haven't publicly shared. And it came with this significant monetary gift, and super excited for it. But again, I'm hesitant to even share this forward, make it public, just fearful of it being shunned a little bit. And I know I shouldn't feel that way. I know my accomplishments, my achievements got me this, award, but the struggling with how and when to share, and not wanting to make things uncomfortable. If that
First, don't
hasn't been
shit on
someone else's
yourself,
experience.
right? First, don't shit on yourself because there's no should. There's no should. I should do this or shouldn't do that, right? I have some thoughts. Val, you want me to start?
You can start, and then I definitely have some
I
thoughts.
know
Go
you
ahead.
have thoughts too. Yeah. So it kind of goes back to who do we share with? I think
Yeah.
absolutely you should be proud. It's amazing. I don't even know what your award is, and I'm excited for you. Those are the type of people you want to share with. And it's not that you're being secretive. If you get the opportunity, it's one of those things you want to pay attention to your intuition on when it feels right. Share it with those people in your network, in your support system that can celebrate with you. If it's something that if you have a website, I would put it on your website, because anybody that's going to come and check you out, whether it's, your LinkedIn or whatever it is, put it there. It's something to be proud of. Stand in your power, stand in your achievements. That's a wonderful thing. I got chills when you were talking about it. So I was like, oh, I'm so excited for her. So that's what I would say first and foremost is think about where you can put it that's really celebrating you, and then who do you want to share it with. And if the opportunity comes up, if the universe says, and you're having a conversation and it just opens up, share it. It's that intuitive knowing, is this is the right time, this is the right place, this is the right person, right? So that's kind of my take on it. That's part of how I would address it. I'm sure Val has some additional ideas as well.
Oh, congratulations, because you should be proud of yourself. You earned something, you got it. That is absolutely wonderful. You should be very proud of yourself. A couple of things on what Terry said. I agree. As far as if you have a website, put it there. If you don't, I would encourage you, even today, to open yourself up to the idea of putting it on your LinkedIn underneath your accomplishments. Let people know what you did. And if it invites negative comments, you know what? Don't answer them. You don't have to say a word. You could block them. You could not even, you could ignore them. You can choose what you want to do with them. As far as personally telling people, I would absolutely share with the people that you care about and the people who care about you. Absolutely 1,000%. Because to me, that shows that you are ready, maybe for the next level. Maybe you're ready for something. I don't know what the award was, so I'm just kind of going off of what
It
I
doesn't
know
really
here.
matter, right? This is
No,
anybody that
no, because
has an
people should want to
achievement.
celebrate you. Honestly, you told me that. And you know what one of the first thoughts in my mind was? Who's taking this girl out for drinks or dinner or something?
And I'm going to add a little caveat to what Val said. There's like people that I love. I'll just say my dad, which I'm old enough that my dad's quite a bit older. I mean, older than you all is what I'm saying. Um, and I wouldn't share all my accomplishments with him because he wouldn't get it. So just because you love them doesn't mean they're the right person to share with.
Yeah.
But yeah, just,
See,
oh, I'm so excited for you. That is so cool. Oh
it
my gosh.
really
Okay.
is very cool. And I think that you should be very proud of yourself. And if someone thinks something negative, here's always, I always, almost always say this. If someone thinks something negative, it says something more about them than it does about you, my dear.
Always.
Always. Kim can, I say that to Kim all the time. She could tell you I say that. It is totally true. It says more about them than it does about you. What the award says about you, I'm going to guess it means you're a hard worker of some sort because you've earned something. I'm going to guess it means that you're great at something because you've earned something. And I'm going to guess that it means that you should definitely be proud of yourself and celebrate yourself. Because I'm a big believer we should celebrate the small wins and the big wins
Because
because it
day-to-day
helps you
living can be
get
a
to more
celebration.
wins.
Absolutely. And when it comes down to it, if you're sharing it with something, kind of what going along with what Val said, if you don't get a real positive response, the first thing I would say is, as you're getting ready to share, just uh, anchor yourself down in your success. Because going back to what Val says, it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. But if you share it and you don't get the type of response you were expecting, don't dwell on it. It's theirs. You said it. You recognized yourself once again because you have accomplished something, and then just move on. Yeah, I wouldn't get stuck in it. I wouldn't think about it. And Val said maybe block people. If you get negativity, I would block them. You do not need them in your world, especially if we're talking LinkedIn or something. It's like if
Here,
they don't get it, moving on,
bye.
because what you want is the people around you that are of a like caliber, right? So you don't need anybody dragging you down. So I
Well,
think
thank
that's,
you
Right.
so
I'm
much.
so
This
glad you
has been
shared that.
helpful. And Cam, you'll be getting a message later, for sure. Don't be mad at me. I know.
She's ready. She's got her phone.
I know. But this is helpful. Thank you for that. And I don't expect there to be any negative, feedback or posting, but just people genuinely not being just as excited about it as you are. And that's just my hesitation. And Kim understands a little bit of my situation and sharing that. But I truly appreciate that. And I am going to do it. I'm going to go out there and post something and I will share. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So
Can I
thank you.
can I add one more thing? If you
Mhm.
don't mind, knowing what Kim's situation is, can I just add one more? Keep in mind that there may be some toxicity there. Um, so it is definitely not a reflection of you. That was the other reason why I said that, because, just keep that in the back of your head, really, for sure. If someone is not supportive, someone is not positive, there may be some toxicity there. Um, and that has literally nothing to do with who you are, your accomplishments, or anything else. You are amazing. Be proud of yourself. And thank you for talking.
And
Really
one other
appreciate the
thing,
share and the question.
to consider is the flip of the coin. Your accomplishment, your um, achievement as a woman could absolutely inspire someone else. So even as you're
Yep.
thinking about those people that may not get it or may kind of poo-poo it because for whatever reason, right? You're also inspiring people. So you got to, I would put that first and foremost in your mind as you're getting ready to share this, because it's about celebrating you, but it's also, you're not doing it like, ha, 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 I've done better than you. It's like, look at what I've done. You can do this too, right? In
Yep.
whatever way is right in their world. So really consider that when you guys are thinking about that. And it looks like, Nikki, you got either a question or a comment?
Yeah, there's probably a million things I could say about half the things we've talked about. So I was like, I'll just wait. Um, but yeah, definitely people watch you. So that would definitely be like I watch people, but I don't necessarily comment on things, but it still affects me. I still get that exposure there. So as far as inspiring others, it's definitely like that's legit. But
Yeah.
also um like I said, I was going to talk about like six different things. We talked about like your circle and like the people that you spend time with. And I noticed in my, when I spend time with my female centric circles, it's a different, it's a different vibe in there because they're all supportive of me. Like I was in a women's club. I'm in a networking group. I'm in like a couple different groups and they're all just like really supportive people. And they're probably the strongest like grounding factor I have right now, where I'm dealing with a lot of transition right now. So I moved away from home, so I'm in a new area, I have a new job, I live in a different place, I live by myself with my cat. So cat is not very helpful, so I tap into my like support networks there, and that is like a huge thing as far as like not going it alone. Like Val knows, I messaged her so many times this past week. I was like, I don't know what's going on, can you help? And just to like, is this real? And like, is this legit? Like, am I dealing with stuff that's normal to deal with? Like, that's kind of because I'm dealing with stuff from different directions at work mostly, but related to what was just asked, I'm not even at the point where I'm trying to like talk about my accomplishments and brag at work. I'm just trying to like qualify myself at work, and that's really challenging for me right now. Like, I work in a machine shop full of guys. The other inspector is also a female, but we've kind of worked together on things, but we're both, me and her are both on the same page, but like my boss always is questioning what we're doing. Like, we give them data and we give them results, and we're like, yeah, but is that real? Like, is that accurate? And it's like, well, did you hire me because I'm qualified to do my job? Like, do you like why? But I'm trying to like figure out the best way to address that issue. And a couple of things that like I've tried to shift my mindset on in a few different ways, where okay, I took a risk, I'm starting in this new job, but I'm also not trying, I'm trying to not just hit this is hard and then run away. I'm like, oh, I gotta leave, and like I'm not going to the risk factor of like I'll just leave my job and like figure it out, like, because we're not quite there yet, but it's not a great spot right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to adjust, I guess, and to get my point across strong, assertively, but not like confidently, but not aggressively. And I've definitely been in that spot where I was like, no, I actually know what I'm doing. This is the result you got. Here's the data. And like, not, I have to deal with the fight back and forth. And it is a small shop. So my boss has been, he owns the company, but he's been like bypassing me in a lot of ways. So I'm kind of dealing with maybe I'm not qualified to do this. Okay, maybe I'll just do this instead. So yes.
No, you're qualified. I think
know.
the issue at hand
I
is,
know.
I think the issue at hand with you is, and you know I love you, is just speaking confidently and not aggressively, like you said. And we both know too from our conversations this week that there's other things happening there anyways. So that's a whole other separate issue. However, I think what your real question is, how do I speak confidently without sounding too aggressive?
Aggressive
That's
or
your,
bossy, or yeah, that's my actual, that's where my question would probably lie.
And I think there's another aspect of that as well. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about a little bit in the beginning. Starting with yourself, releasing self-doubt, because you know you've got the skills. That's why you went for the job. That's why you got the job. Releasing that imposter syndrome thing, because other people questioning you is making you question yourself. So a lot of it is coming back to your center, because we can't change other people. But the more we stand solid in our own belief of self, the more, and it doesn't mean you may not have to say it over and over again, with this particular boss, until he either gets it, starts to trust you, or, or circumstances change. But it's so important, I think, for all of us not to let other people influence us so that we start doubting ourselves, right? You know what you know, and I'm not saying we know it all. There's some valid doubt out there, right? When we're learning new skills and things, but it's still supporting yourself in that belief of, I know what I'm doing with what I've got, with the skills I have now, with the job that I'm doing, and giving yourself the opportunity to, as you and Val were talking about, it's not about being aggressive. It's not about fighting in that conversation. If you have to say, yes, these are results, I did the test, whatever, 3 times, then you say it 3 times, but you don't get wrapped up in it. You don't let yourself get, oh, I've got to prove myself. No, you've got the facts. Lay them out there. So the first thing I'd say is stand strong. Just stand strong in who you are, what you do, and continue to learn too, because it's through those interactions that you'll learn more about him. You'll learn more about yourself and maybe more about the job. So look at it as a bit of a risky adventure and the opportunities that you can get out of that, right? Change is hard. So we have to step up and be courageous when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm noticing the time, and one of the things that we're doing today is we're going to do some energy psychology. And what that means is we're going to have an opportunity to address things from a quantum physics perspective, and we're going to actually change our vibration. We're going to change our frequency, change our resonance with some of these things we're talking about. So if you all are open to this, I will lead this part of it. And we all have an opportunity to walk away with the benefit. If for whatever reason you think, nope, not for me, it's okay. You don't have to take any of it in. But I'll tell you that it's something I've been doing for 26 years, and it's a very powerful tool. So are you all, give me a little thumbs up or a head shake if you're thinking, yeah, let's give this a try. All right, excellent. So I'm going to give you a super brief description of what I'm doing. It's energy psychology, and it's something called resonance. There we go. Resonance repatterning. It's a non-linear process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to address some problems, and I'm going to address some intentions, and we're going to do it super brief. This is something that's normally an hour long. I'm going to do it in like 15, 20 minutes. But it's going to give you something to walk away with today. All right. So I'm going to muscle check for the group to see where we're going to go. So I want to check. I'm thinking we're going to do problems first, and we are. Don't worry about all my little finger movements. It's okay. I'm just checking into the energy of the group. So we're going to start with problems. So I'm going to ask for a couple of problems and kind of just thinking about it from a general perspective of what we've talked about in the group. So I won't address it really specifically to you as an individual, but I think a lot of the things we've talked about are things that we all deal with. So from that perspective, if you have something that immediately came to mind, my problem is, let's hear it.
You can unmute and just go.
My
Sorry, go
current
ahead.
leadership.
Say that again.
That's my current leadership.
So got to give me a little bit more. So is the problem that you're not supported by them? What's the problem with current leadership?
A very loaded question.
Keep it as generic as you can.
I would say lack of communicating goals.
They're not communicating what they want you to do, goal-wise?
Yes.
Okay, so let's
goal-wise and organizational-wise.
Okay, so I'm gonna paraphrase my leadership. All right, this is what's coming through. My leadership lacks communication skills and clear directions. It's interesting that it went that direction, but we're going to start with that, and that'll cover a lot of ground, right? All right, what other thoughts? I want to get like 2 or 3. And if you're not used to doing this, it might be hard to think of it from a kind of generic perspective. Go ahead, Nikki.
I'd say lack of support, a similar vein, leadership lacks support, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna
Also communication, but support was the more focused one there.
All right, say so what I'm writing is I'm not supported. Oh wow. Okay, I'm not supported in my professional life. And I'm getting that we professional and personal life. And that's it. And just to clarify something, this isn't about truth. This is about the energy that we're in the moment. This is what we're experiencing in the moment. And belief kind of becomes truth for us sometimes, right? So that's where we're wanting to shift things. So let's do one more. Thoughts, anyone? Because if not, I've got one that's hanging out here for me. All right, here's what it is then. I'm afraid to take risks in the end. Really, really generic, but can be super huge block. So we need to list anything more for these problems? Not in the moment. So we're going to do all of these yes and all together yes. All right, so you all can say this with me. You'll repeat after me. And if you want to stay behind your mute button and repeat it, that's cool too. At the very least, Val's going to say it with me, but if anybody else wants to, it's yours. It's yours to take the energy in, shift these problems, moving them out of your life, right? And Jean, that's totally fine. So you can say it in your mind as well. All right, so you will repeat after me. Say, my leadership lacks communication skills.
My leadership lacks communication skills.
Clear direct and clear directions. All right, I am not supported in my professional or personal lives.
I'm not supported in my professional or personal lives.
I am afraid to take risks in the unknown.
I'm afraid to take risks in the unknown.
All right. Right now, we are resonating with it. And honestly, the reason we have things in our lives, good, better, and different, is because that's our vibration. I mean, they've proven that everything vibrates, right? So within our lives are the things we're vibrating with. So what we're doing here with this energy psychology, with this quantum physics-based modality, is changing our vibration so we can move those things that we don't want in our lives out. And now let's talk about what we want to move in. So let's do 2 or 3 intention statements. What do you want instead? And it doesn't have to be directly related to what you first said. What do you want? What do you want to really create success? Jean, I hear you. That's a whole conversation there. What do you want? All right, I've got one that's come through really strong, so I'm going to share it with you guys. I take impactful impactful risks that support me on my journey. So whether you're talking about your journey at work, your journey in your personal life, this next chapter, the chapter you're in, it's impactful risks. It's not willy-nilly, crazy, whatever. And it may be hard risks, but it's still taking those impactful ones that will really support you. Okay. What else? What other things come to mind? I want to get a couple more intentions out there for you guys.
I just listed not waiting on one to change, but to be that change factor.
I am the change. I am the change. Okay, my spelling got really crazy there. I am the change that we have been waiting for. Me, myself, and I, and those other people. What else? Jean, I hear you. more. Oh, I am safe. And supported. While I have the, okay, I hear something, but I'm not sure what I'm hearing. While I have the courage to live my life fully. All right. Okay, so these are 3 really good ones. So let's go ahead and let's work with these. And again, you can repeat after me, either in the recording and or behind or in your mind. You got to snort in the background. All right, say I take impactful risks.
I take impactful risks
That support me on my journey.
that support me in my journey.
I am the change
I am the change
we have been waiting for.
we've been waiting for.
I am safe and supported
I am safe and supported
while I have the courage
while I have the courage
to live my life fully.
to live my life fully.
All right. And we're not feeling that yet, but we will. And I got all kinds of chills as we were saying that. It's like, oh, all right. I'm so excited for you all. All right. So we have now addressed some of the problems that are blocking us, that are limiting lives and our professions. And we have addressed those things that we want that can move us forward, that can get us really aligned with the steps that we want to take in our lives. So the problems and the intentions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shift that energy, and we're going to do that through using a modality or an energizing option that will help shift that resonance we were talking about, that we all are and live in, which is why we have these things in our lives. So moving those problems out, pulling those intentions in. And for the group, we're looking at something from process from sound. I'm going to just check because it's one of the super easy ones that we can do quickly and that you all can take with you afterwards. It's clapping. All right. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about clapping. So clapping breaks up stagnation and clears the air. It can be used close to the body, around a room, and especially in corners. So I want you to think about this. Near the floor, and break up stagnant energies. Clapping stimulates the palms of both hands, which are subchakras of the heart. And it's interesting that clapping in most parts of the world is an expression of appreciation from the heart. So super easy. Let me just check something. We need it in a particular area. We need to do a certain rhythm. No. So there's so many different ways to clap, right? You can do lots of sound. You can do a different rhythm. You can do different speeds. You might do it. If you're feeling a headache, clapping can break out that energy that's stuck in your head, right? If you're feeling disempowered, do it around your solar plexus. That's your center of power. Break the stagnation up. Do it around your heart. So I'm going to ask y'all to clap. I was doing the clapping for you, but I want y'all to just loosen up a little bit. Clap for yourself. You can clap really quietly if there's people around you, right? Whatever way feels good. This is a super way to shift the energy. Seriously powerful, though it's simple. All right. Getting all kinds of chills. We're moving the energy really, really well. And that's complete. And as you can see, you don't have to do it for a whole long time. If the room feels heavy, if somebody just had an argument in the room, clap around the room, move that stuff out. Super, super simple to shift things in your life, right? This is just one way of doing it. So we've clapped. Now we're going to check our statements and we're going to see the shift that has occurred. So we're going to start with those problem statements. So we're going to say them all again. Say, my leadership lacks communication skills.
Leadership lacks communication skills
And clear directions.
and clear directions.
I am not supported
I am not supported
by professional or personal lives.
I didn't hear everything you said.
In my professional or personal life,
In my professional or personal life,
I am afraid to take risks
I
in
am
the
afraid to take risks
in the unknown.
in the unknown.
All right. So I'm showing we've cleared that energy. So what that means is, I'll quickly go over what it means here in a second. So we cleared the energy. Yay. I'm also your personal cheerleader, just so you know. All right. And then let's do our intention statements. Say, I take impactful risks
Take impactful risks
that support me on my journey.
that support me on my journey.
I am the change that we have been waiting for.
I am the change that we have been waiting for.
I am safe and supported
I am safe and supported
while I have the courage
while I have the courage
to live my life fully.
to live my life fully.
And oh, that's a nice strong on. Yay. All right. There's something more we need for this repatterning. No. So what I want you to know is something has shifted. The best thing for you to do going forward with this little bit of energy work that we just did is be the witness. Pay attention. How do you feel? What do you notice when you're addressing some of these issues? Or is it's kind of an awareness thing, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, yes, stuff. I'm gonna say stuff is still happening, but I'm handling it different. I feel a little more centered. I feel a little more balanced. Uh, Perhaps you notice that your support's showing up that you didn't even really ask for. You're relating differently, or others are relating to you differently. So watch for those little shifts, or you just feel better, feel a little more centered, feel a little more happy. Watch for the minor shifts, or not the subtle shifts, not minor, subtle shifts, and then watch for big miraculous things. I mean, something big changes. Pay attention to your life. You are your own witness as well as your own support system, but it helps you to see what's going on, right? So pay attention and know that I have absolute confidence that you've made a shift. Now, if it's something that's been dragging at you for a long time, it may take a little more work with it, right? Wherever you get the work done, whether it's something you work with Valerie on, whether you work with a friend on it, yourself, and it could be that you have some big, huge, miraculous change that happens quickly. So be open to it. Be open to knowing that you have made a shift. Questions, because I know this was different for pretty much everybody on the call, probably. Questions? All right. Oh gosh, you guys are just like, I'm just gonna go with it.
I don't have a
Nikki?
question, but I have a comment.
Okay.
I noticed like I do actually like physically feel better. Like I notice I'm smiling more now. And I noticed like I actually like I do feel better. I've done some work with a couple people that do energy work too, but I do notice like a shift at the end. We're like, oh yeah, I feel better now.
Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, even
Done
as a
this before,
practitioner,
Nikki? It does
something
help.
similar. Yeah, something similar
Yeah.
sounds like. Yeah. I've been doing this work for, like I said, for like 26 years, and it's everything isn't for everybody. But what I find is the people that choose to do different types of work, you're going to get the benefits that are yours to have, and the universe isn't saying, oh no, no, not her, not her, not her, not her. They're not. It's not saying that, right? That we are here for you. I'm so excited that Val allowed me to come in and play with you all in this really important life work that we do, living our lives professionally and personally. And I'm excited for y'all as leaders, women leaders, and really hold that you will have that success that you desire. So that's just my wish for you all, and kind of in closing for my little piece here. So, Val, how do you want to close this up?
So I have to say thank you everyone for coming. I'm very excited. I love the way this was so much fun for me. I don't know. I hope everyone else had as much fun as I did. This probably will not be the last that you see of Terry. So if you enjoyed this, we definitely would love to hear from you. She will be back around And maybe we'll do a part two. And this was just so much fun for me. So if you really enjoyed this, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear feedback is always helpful. And if you have more questions, also feel free to reach out. We definitely want to make sure that we got everything answered. The recording will be going out tomorrow, so you will be getting that. Along with that, you will be getting a free gift from Terry and myself. And if there's anything else that anyone needs, let us know. We're here to help you. We want to make sure that everyone got the value that they needed.
And know that it's as a woman leader, and Val as well. I'm sure I'm going to speak for both of us. Our greatest goal is to support other
Each other.
women be great leaders as well, because it's we make the change. We make the change internally, and we make the change with the world by standing together and supporting each other. So I'm very excited for all of us.
So we are here for you if you need anything, and we hope to see you all again soon. Thank you both. Thank you, Terry, for coming, and thank you everyone for showing up.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful
Have a
rest of your week.
have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.
All right. You want to stop the recording?
Yeah, one second.